Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Asa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
For the pleasure of the Lordship, Shri Gaurnitai, Shri Shri Radha Vallabh, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. Daily score report for Sunday, 8th of May. Books distributed. Nanda Gopal Prabhu. 11 Mahabig, 1 Śrīmad Bhāgavatam set for 94 book points. Preaching score. Radhe Chai Bar, 121 guests for 1,459 Lakshmi points. Lakshmi liberated Nand Gopal Prabhu, 439. Temple shop, 469. And member services, 1,221. That gives the daily and weekly total of 2,129 Lakshmi points. Sankirtan Yagna ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bandho mohi savadana mate Bandho mohe savadana mate Yahara prasade bhava toriya Yahara prasade bhava toriya Krishna prapti hai jahan hote Krishna prapti hai jahan hote Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite te Koriya Kya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite te Koriya Aikya Harana Koriya Mane Asa Arana Koriya Mane Asa Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Je prasade pure sarva asa जे प्रसादे पुरे सर्व आसा चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्म जन्म प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्म जन्म प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद ज्ञाय जहाँ चरित वेद ज्ञाय जहाँ चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु लोकेना लोकेरा जीवन लोकेना लोकेरा जीवन आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया आहा प्रभु करो दया देव मोरे पद छाया एबेयास कुसुत्रिभुवना एबेयास कुसुत्रिभुवना श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावन श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावन जय प्रभुपदा 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 श्रीला प्रभुपदा प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद नमो विष्णुपदाय Krishna prestaya bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami te namine Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Chaitanya Nityananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jagannatha, Baladevai, Jaya Subhadra. Jayo Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Paramahamsa Pariyacharya Stota Śrīmad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki. Namo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pariyacharya Stota Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki. Naam Acharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदी श्री श्री राधा कृष्णा गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, यमुना मई की, गंगा मई की, तुलसी महारानी की, समवेद भक्तवृंद की. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtotra Sadasri Śrīmad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Granthra Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Thai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His Divine Grace Śrīla Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtikhi. Today we are continuing to read from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 8, titled The Narayana Kavasa Shield. Text 13. Jaleshu mam rakshatu matsya murtir Yadho ghanebhyo varunasya pashat Staleshu maya vatuva manovyak Trivikramah kevatu vishvarupa Jaleshu mam rakshatu matsya murtir Yadho ghanebhyo varunasya pashat Staleshu maya vatuva manovyak Trivikramah kevatu vishvarupa Jaleshu mam rakshatu matsya murtir Yadho ghanebhyo varunasya pashat Staleshu maya vatuva manovyak Trivikramah kevatu vishvarupa Jaleshu mam rakshatu matsya murtir Yado ghanebhyo varunasya pashat Saleshu maya vatuva manovyak Jaleshu mam rakshatu matsya murtir Yado ghanebhyo varunasya pashat Staleshu maya vatuma manovyak Jaleshu mam rakshatu matsya murtir Matajis. Jaleshu mam rakshatu matsya murtir Yato Ganebhyo Varunasya Pashat Staleshu Mayavatu Vamanobhya. Word to word meaning. Jaleshu, in the water. Mam, may. Rakshatu, protect. Matsya Murtihi, the Supreme Lord in the form of a great fish. Yada Ganebhya, from fierce aquatic animals. Varunasya, of the demigod known as Varuna. Pashat, from the arresting rope. Staleshu, on the land. Mayavatu, the merciful form of the Lord as a dwarf. Vamanaha, named Vamanadeva. Avyat, may he protect. Trivikramaha, Trivikrama, whose 3 gigantic steps took the 3 worlds from Bali. Ke, in the sky. Avatu, may the Lord protect. Vishwarupaha, the gigantic form. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. May the Lord, who assumes the body of a great fish, protect me in the water from the fierce animals that are associates of the demigod Varuna. By expanding his illusory energy, the Lord assumed the form of the dwarf Vamana. May Vamana protect me on the land. Since the gigantic form of the Lord, Vishwarupa, conquers the 3 worlds, may he protect me in the sky. This mantra seeks the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the water, land, and sky in his incarnations as the fish, Vamanadeva, and the Vishwarupa. I'll read the verse and translation for 14-15 as well. Durgesh atvat ajimukhadishu prabhu payan simho sura yutha pari vimunchato yasya matatahasam disho vinedur nyapatamscha garbha. May Lord Narasimhadeva, who appeared as the enemy of Hiranyakashipu, protect me in all directions. His loud laughing vibrated in all directions and caused the pregnant wives of the Asuras to have miscarriages. May the Lord be kind enough to protect me in difficult places like the forest and battlefront. Rakshast asumadvanija yajna kalpa swadam shtraya yonitadharo varaha ramodri ramodri kuteshu atavipravase salakshmano vyad Salakshmano vyad Bharatagrajosman. The Supreme Indestructible Lord is ascertained through the performance of ritualistic sacrifices and is therefore known as Yajneshwara. In his incarnation as Lord Boar, he raised the planet Earth from the water at the bottom of the universe and kept it on his pointed tusks. May that Lord protect me from rogues on the street. May Parashurama protect me on the tops of mountains, and may the elder brother of Bharata, Lord Ramachandra, along with his brother Lakshmana, protect me in foreign countries. There are 3 Ramas. One Rama is Parashurama, Jamadagnya. Another Rama is Lord Ramachandra, and the 3rd Rama is Lord Balarama. In this verse, the words Ramodri Kuteshu Ata indicate Parashurama. The brother of Bharat Maharaj and Lakshmana is Lord Ramachandra. Text 16. Mamugradharmad akilat pramadan Narayanah patu narascha hasad Datstvag ayogad atayoganata payad gunesha kapila karma bandhat. May Lord Narayana protect me from unnecessarily following false religious systems and falling from my duties due to madness. May the Lord in his appearance as Nara protect me from unnecessary pride. May Lord Dattatreya, the master of all mystic power, protect me from falling while performing bhakti yoga. And may Lord Kapila, the master of all good qualities, protect me from the material bondage of fruitive activities. Text 17. Sanat Kumaro Vatukama Devad Dhaya Shiramam Pati Deva Helanat Devarshivarya Purusharchanantarat Kurmo Harirmam Nirayad Asheshad. May Sanat Kumara protect me from lusty desires. As I begin some auspicious activity, may Lord Hayagriva protect me from being an offender by neglecting to offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord. May Devarishi Narada protect me from committing offenses in worshipping the deity, and may Lord Kurma, the tortoise, protect me from falling into the unlimited hellish planets. Purport. Lusty desires are very strong in everyone, and they are the greatest impediment to discharge devotional service. Therefore, those who are very much influenced by lusty desires are advised to take shelter of Sanat Kumara, the great brahmachari devotee. Narada Muni, who is the guide for Archana, is the author of the Narada Pancharatra, which prescribes the regulative principles for worshipping the deity. Everyone engaged in deity worship, whether at home or in temple, should always seek the mercy of Devarishi Narada in order to avoid the 32 offenses while worshipping the deity. These offenses in deity worship are mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Uta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatharubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The Narayana Kavacha shield is being applied, and the process of touching different parts of the body, and that is being described. So touching different parts of the body and applying these mantras is called nyasa. We have different varieties of praying to the Lord. One form is called as stotra, where it's just like a child calling out to the Lord. For the stotras, there are not much rules and regulations to follow. It's just like voluntarily a child calling out to the mother in a spontaneous way, asking for protection, for help, for safety, For Bhakti Yoga, we ask for increased engagement in service. In contrast to the stotras, the Kavacha mantras, you have a lot of preliminary activities to perform. You have a lot of formalities in terms of chanting the mantra, touching different parts of the body. And one has to be very careful with the pronunciation as well. So if one mispronounces during the Kavacha mantra, it will result in negative. It may result in negative or the opposite result of what you are asking for. An example is given as that of Brahmana offering Kavacha mantra to Mother Parvati or Bhargavi. So one mispronunciation where he was asking Mother Bhargavi to protect his wife. So one mispronunciation, instead of protection, it became let Mother Bhargavi protect my wife. Instead of that, the meaning turned out, let Mother Bhargavi consume my wife. Means the Brahmana's wives were dying because he was mispronouncing the Kavacha mantras. Later, when he approached his Guru, then his Guru, in his mantra drishti, he saw, and then he asked, so you start reciting the mantra, how are you doing this? So then he corrected the pronunciation. So based on that, the defect was fixed. So even while reading this, it's very hard to follow the exact pronunciation, and that is why we have the easy process of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. We pray to the spiritual master, Param Guru, Panchatattva, then we start chanting. And this process is much easier than following the set of complex procedures. So one may not be able to pronounce properly, one may not be able to find the right time, right person. But still, because you're approaching the Lord in His various forms, He is giving these kind of details as to how you can protect yourself. So even when doing deity worship, when doing different angas of bhakti, here it is said, may Lord Dattatreya, the master of all mystic power, protect me from falling while performing bhakti yoga. So that's why we take to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, where the Shastra recommends various methods, and then the Guru tells this is appropriate for you at this particular point of time in life. So that's why the demigods, they accept the authority of Vishvarupa, and then Vishvarupa is giving them, at this point of time, you want to regain the lost strength and power, so you have to do this procedure. And then he makes Indra sit and go through the procedures. Now, verse 13 talks about protection in water by the great fish, protection on the land by Lord Vamanadev, protection in the sky by Vishvarupa. So it kind of matches where the incarnation is there. The fish protects you in water. Vamanadev asked for 3 steps of land, and he later took the form of Trivikrama. Vamana then becomes Trivikrama, then so in the sky, the gigantic form. Interestingly, on the altar we have most of the incarnations. We have Matsya, we have Trivikrama as well. So we can ask for protection from the deity, when we request for specific protection, for specific deficiencies that we have, then the Lord reciprocates. Then we continue on with text 14, where Lord Narasimhadev is approached for protection from enemies, and one entire verse is dedicated to Lord Narasimhadev, and then his loud laughing and the effect of that is discussed. And his help is sought in difficult places like forest and battlefront, where there is maximum danger in forest and battlefront. There, the protection of Narasimhadev is sought. We're going to celebrate his appearance in few days. I thought of reciting one of the prayers which Prahlad Maharaj offers, describing the form of Lord Narasimhadev and how the form of the Lord, as described in this text 14, is causing miscarriages for the pregnant wife of the demons. So such a ferocious form, how is Prahlad Maharaj responding to that form? What is he saying? So in 7.9.15, he sings this particular verse where he describes how he is not affected by the fierce form of the Lord. He's 5-year-old and he's seeing this ferocious form who has just come out of the pillar and he has devoured his father. Sthambe sabhayam namrigam na manusham. To keep the word of Lord Brahma and to protect his devotee, the Lord appeared in the pillar, from the pillar. One could not identify whether he is a human or an animal. Na mrigam, na manusham. So here, Prahlad Maharaj is being asked to go near Narasimhadev, who is in his fierce form, just after having killed Hiranyakashipu. And then he is offering this prayer. My Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue. Your eyes bright like the sun, or your frowning eyebrows. Here the form of the Lord is being described. Ferocious mouth, ferocious tongue, eyes are bright like sun, your eyebrows are frowning, the teeth is sharp and pinching. No one would want to go near such a form. But Prahlad Maharaj is saying that he is not afraid of that. Maybe we should put mats on the wire so that people don't step on. So Prahlad Maharaj is describing that he is not afraid. And on top of that, the intensity of the description grows further, where Narasimhadev is wearing garland. Garland of what? Garland of the intestine of Hiranyakashipu. And his mane is soaked with blood. And his ears are like wedges. So, and then on top of that there is tumultuous roaring, which makes elephants flee to distinct places. And he has got nails like thunderbolts. So, Prahlad Maharaj, despite the fearful form of the Lord, he says, I am not at all afraid. Naham vibemi ajitateti bhayanakasya jivvarkranetra brukutira bashogratamstrat antrash sajakshata jakesha rashanku karna nihradabita digibad haribinna kagrat. So he's saying, I'm not afraid of this particular form, fierce form. But he says he's afraid of getting entangled in the material world. So this is a healthy fear to have of being entangled in the material world. Of course, Prahlad Maharaj is a fully perfected Mahabhagavat devotee, but he, in his prayer, his mood will switch from playing the role of a conditioned soul and saying that he is very afraid of material nature, and in the same prayer later he will say, I'm not afraid of even material nature, but I'm worried about those who are stuck in this material world. I want to deliver them. So this I thought of sharing. It's like a good meditation for us to have as we are moving towards celebrating Narasimha Sadurdasi. I'll read the purport of 7.9.15. Lord Narasimhadev's fierce appearance was certainly most dangerous for the non-devotees, but for Prahlad Maharaj, such a fearful appearance was not at all disturbing. The lion is very fearsome for other animals, but its cubs are not at all afraid of the lion. The water of the sea is certainly dreadful for all living entities on the land, but within the sea, even small fish is unafraid. Prabhupada having given two analogies, lion, cub, water, fish, the small fishes living. Then he asks, why are they not afraid? Because the small fish has taken shelter of the big ocean. It is said that although great elephants are taken away by the flooding waters of the river, the small fish swim opposite the current. Therefore, although the Lord sometimes assumes a fierce appearance to kill the dushkritis, the devotees worship him. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. The devotee always takes pleasure in worshipping the Lord and glorifying the Lord in any form, either pleasing or fierce. So that helps us to understand the devotee's mood and how we must approach the Lord for protection. Because the Kavacha mantras are for protection, and then for protection against different circumstances, protection against different elements, you see, on the land, on the water, on the battlefront, on the forest. So different forms of the Lord are being addressed, invoked. So the key principle is helplessly approaching the Lord for protection. So in the text 15, the boar incarnation is discussed. As we know, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, they were killed by Varahadev and Narasimhadev respectively. So we saw Narasimhadev, then comes Varahadev, where as Jagannath Prabhu was discussing yesterday, despite hearing the sharp words, accusing and offending words of Hiranyaksha, while the Lord was taking Mother Earth and putting her in a safe place, he was not disturbed by all of that. He was doing his duty despite hearing those harsh words. Then later he turns and starts fighting. So here we can pray to Lord Varahadev when we are stuck in the deep ocean of our own conditioning, our own samskaras, our own anarthas, to ask help from the Lord to lift us up from such deep conditionings which we have. and we are kind of lost. It is said that if you're having a lot of bad habits from the past, which is preventing you from progressing, it's good to pray to Lord Varahadev to take you out of those bad habits and place you back in and help you progress in bhakti. Then Prabhupada goes on to explain the three kinds of Ramas, Parasurama, and then Lord Ramachandra, who is described as Bharata-agraja, the elder brother of Maharaj Bharat. So this reminded me of the prayer which Hanumanji offers to Lord Ram, where he also uses the Lakshmanangraja, the brother of Lakshmana. And in that prayer, Hanumanji brings out the exalted nature, merciful nature of Lord Rama. So when we meditate, we can meditate on the form of the Lord, on the name of the Lord, and also on the qualities of the Lord. And remembrance can also be on the name of the Lord, form of the Lord, qualities of the Lord, and his pastimes. So this particular prayer in 5.19.7, Hanumanji is praising Lord Ram, and he's making a very strong point that one cannot establish a friendship with the Supreme Lord Ramachandra on the basis of material qualities such as one's birth in an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. None of these qualifications is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Sri Ramachandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that although we uncivilized inhabitants of the forest have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Ramachandra has nevertheless accepted us as friends. So despite all the material disqualifications and considering himself as very low, not having noble birth, not having physical beauty, Hanumanji says he cannot speak like a gentleman, but he is known for his eloquent speech, and that's what made Lord Ram identify when Hanumanji disguised himself as a sannyasi and tried to come in front of Lord Ram and Lakshmana. So the way he spoke, Lord Ram said he knows different Vedas, and that's why he's speaking in such an eloquent way. But Hanumanji is putting himself in a humble position and saying that I don't have a noble birth, I don't have physical beauty, I cannot speak like gentlemen, but still, my Lord, you have accepted me as your friend. So this mood is humbly submitting oneself in front of the Lord, just Dainya Bodhika, and offering prayers in that mood. Na janmanu na mahato na saubhagau na van na buddhir na kritistosha hetu tairyat visishtan apino vanaukashash chakara sakye bata lakshmanangraja. So here Lakshmanangraja is used where Lord Ramachandra, the elder brother of Lakshmana, and in verse 15 we see Bharata-agraja. Text 16 talks about Lord Narayana protecting us from unnecessarily following false religious systems, then and due to madness. And this is one of the reasons which made Indra offend Brihaspati. The second reason being pride, and that is taken care by Lord Nara. May the Lord in his appearance as Nara protect me from unnecessary pride. So there are external enemies and there are some internal enemies. So internal enemies are this lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. So to win your opponents, you not only need to have external protection and strength, but also have internal protection and strength. That comes from the Lord and His various incarnations. As I mentioned already, Dattatreya, let him protect us from falling while performing Bhakti Yoga. And may Lord Kapila, the master of all good qualities, protect me from the material bondage of fruitive activities. So if you have fruitive mentality and you are performing activities, you want something back from the Lord. And that's not the highest platform. Of course, the Lord does encourage in the Bhagavatam that whether you have desires or no desires, continue to worship me. But as you progress, it is good to give up worshipping the Lord and asking for something material. So that creates bondage, and you won't be able to engage your body, mind and senses in pure devotion. Then coming to this verse 17, which talks about the theme of protection. As I said, internal enemies. The next item in the list is lust. May Sanat Kumara protect me. So in the chapter introduction also we'll see the different incarnations of the Lord, then the Sakti Avesh incarnations of the Lord are being invoked. Here, in this verse 17, prayers are offered and the requests are made to the 4 Kumaras and Narad Muni as well, who are Sakti Avesh incarnations. Narad Muni being is empowered with Bhakti Shakti. Kumaras, do you know what they are empowered with? Jnana Shakti. Yeah. So Kumaras are empowered by Jnana Shakti. So they are the Shakti Avesh incarnations. The culture of respecting those who are exemplary in a particular aspect of either devotion or Jnana, and their renunciation and their intense devotion and the attention to details in deity worship, all of that is being brought out here, where you not only pray to the Lord, but also take help of the devotees who have excelled and who are exemplary. So that is being brought out. So in the Bhagavad Gita also, first chapter, we see how signs of victory. In that section, Prabhupada will mention about the presence of Lord Hanuman in the flag of Arjuna's chariot. So the culture of, so there Prabhupada will explain that Hanuman is the fighting Acharya. He has fought on behalf of Lord Ram and Lord Ram was fighting against Ravana. So now you are fighting against the Kauravas. So you take shelter of such an Acharya when you are also fighting. So the culture of taking shelter of devotees is being brought in. So Prabhupada in that lecture he will say, "Hey Hanumanji, hey Vajrangji, kindly help me." So like that we should ask for help. Again in Ramayana we also see when, of course there's a pastime where Lakshmana gets bound by the Nagapasha, then Garuda is asked to come and to remove. So again taking shelter of a devotee of the Lord to come and help in tough situations. And here, the one of the biggest enemies of a spiritual seeker is lust. And interestingly, the four Kumaras will have a conversation with Lord Brahma and they will ask this question about how the sense objects enter the mind and the mind enters the sense objects. And there is always a constant bond between these two. Will they ever get released? Is there an option to break that bond between the material mind and the material senses? So they will pose this question to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma, at that time, he won't be able to answer the question because he also gets slightly influenced by the mode of passion because of the nature of his service. But the Lord does not let his devotee down. So therefore he appears as the Hamsa incarnation, and then he answers that question. Yes, the mind enters the sense objects enter the mind, and they are in a constant, they are bound together like that. And don't try to have a material solution to this kind of bondage between the material mind and the senses. Don't even start to think that you can ever break the bond. Then what's the solution? We know in the Gita, 3rd chapter itself, Krishna describes the different levels, how the hierarchy, the senses, dead matter, senses are above the dead matter, then mind is above the senses, intelligence is above the mind, and the soul is highest of all. So this hierarchy tells us that we shouldn't try to fix the bondage between the material mind and the senses just at the level of being situated at the mind and the senses. One has to transfer his attention to thinking about the Lord. That's what Hamsa incarnation will tell, that you cannot break unless you divert your mind to thinking about the Lord. Think about Lord Krishna, naturally your bondage with the material senses gets broken. And you start engaging your mind in the service of the Lord. And that's the only way. And you have to raise above this platform of mind, material mind and senses, and raise to the spiritual platform. That's why the hierarchy is given. Spirit, soul is highest. You raise to that platform and start remembering the Lord, meditating on the Lord, and engaging in the Lord's service. So then you can break. So there are no material solutions for material problems. One has to raise to the spiritual platform to solve this material problem. And Krishna does describe that this enemy of lust, there is no compromise, because in some cases you negotiate, you try to give as a donation, or so the sama, bheda, dhana, then danda is the punishment. So with lust, Krishna describes there is no negotiation, it just has to be eliminated. You can't encourage and keep, you can't have friendly, you can't have talks. So Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho Kama Rupam Durashadam. So it's an enemy to be eradicated, but also he gives the spiritual, the philosophical understanding of the hierarchy, and physiologically also how do you regulate your body. so that the enemy of lust does not come. He says regulate your eating and sleeping. So excessive eating, excessive sleeping increases lust. So along with prayers to the Lord and His devotees, and along with philosophical understanding, physiologically also one has to regulate his senses. And for that also the Lord has given directions. Another way of overcoming lust as a spiritual solution is to read the pastimes of Krishna and Balarama, especially the pastime of Lord Balaram killing Pralambasura. So Pralambasura will assume the form of another Gopa, and when Lord Balaram and his Lord Krishna, Balaram and all of the Gopas are playing, the game is that of wrestling and then carrying the person who loses. Whoever loses, they have to carry the other party. So Pralambasura will be in the Krishna's party and they will lose, and Pralambasura will volunteer to carry Lord Balaram. His idea is to carry Balaram, take him to a remote place, and then thinking that he can kill Balaram. So it is said that as Pralambasura is carrying away Lord Balaram, just to increase the flavor of the pastime, Lord Balaram will act as if he is getting frightened. So it's described, when Lord Balarama, who carries the plough weapon, saw the gigantic body of the demon, so here from the Gopa form, the demon is showing his actual form. He moved swiftly in the sky, the demon, with blazing eyes, fiery hair, terrible teeth reaching towards his cowling brows, and an amazing effulgence generated from his armlets, crown and earrings. The Lord Balaram, seemed to become little frightened. So purport describes that Srila Sanatana Goswami explains Lord Baladeva's so-called fear as follows. Balarama was playfully acting out the role of an ordinary cowherd boy, and to maintain the mood of the pastime, he appeared slightly disturbed by the horrible demoniac body. Okay, so to get into the mood of the pastime, second reason given is that this demon has appeared in the form of a cowherd boy, and that too as a friend of Lord Krishna. So how can I kill him? There is some slight hesitation from Lord Balaram. And the third hesitation or slight fear is that now I have been attacked by one demon, there could be other demons who could be attacking Krishna also. So these things are going on in his mind, and later, as you know, Lord Balaram kills Pralambasura. So by meditating on pastimes of Krishna and Balaram also, we can overcome the lower nature, and one of them is lust. The other prayer that we sing daily is from Brahma Samhita, which also helps us to overcome the influence of Kamadev. So what's that prayer from Brahma Samhita which we sing? It is sung daily. Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalaya Daksham Barhavatamsam Asitambuddha Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. So Lord Krishna is the original Cupid, and his beauty can conquer the beauty of Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. Govindam Adipurusham Damaham Bhajami. So by focusing on the eyebrows of the Lord, meditating on the feet of the Lord, which has got different markings, it destroys the darkness of ignorance. So lust due to bodily consciousness can also be overcome by worshipping the deity form of the Lord. And that's the next theme which comes up is praying to Devarshi Narada to protect us from various offenses we commit during deity worship. And Prabhupada in the purport talks about how the list is given in the nectar of devotion. So offenses are there against the holy name, offenses are there when we are serving Vaishnavas, offenses are there when we are in the Dham, offenses are there when we worship the deity. So offenses takes away the spiritual potency that you get by doing these 5 potent forms of staying in the Dham, serving the devotees, worshipping the deity. So offenses indicate an unfavorable attitude. Offenses also take away that spiritual strength that you have got by performing those potent forms of devotion. So they need to be avoided. So offenses can be done in body, mind and words. And the list is given, but the core principles are that they make you forget Krishna, they may prevent you from doing further service, and this kind of offensive mentality comes in because we forget that the Lord is a person. We think that the deity form is just a stone or a metal, and that's why we need to hear from devotees about the glories of the deity form, where we are more aware of the glories of the deity. And in Nectar of Devotion is described about how the effect of worshipping the deity is so great that one forgets other material attachments. Attachment to matter, attachment to wife, children, home, everything. And Rupa Goswami does it in a poetic way that he describes that do not worship the Lord. Do not worship the Lord, do not go to Keshi God, do not see his Tribhanga form, do not hear the playing of the flute, do not go there, do not go there, do not go there. So this is Vyaja Stuti, where he is indirectly glorifying. If you do it, what will happen is that you will lose all your interest in matter, you will lose all your relationships, your interest in your family relationships and all of that. So don't go, don't see the form. So that's how Rupa Goswami is indirectly encouraging through this Vyaja Stuti to take the darshan of the Lord, to serve him. And that's why a lot of angas of bhakti are related to the deity, offering garland, smelling the garland, offering incense, smelling the incense, offering bhoga, then tasting prasadam, taking darshan. Like that, there are so many angas related to the worship of the deity. So this helps us to come out of bodily platform, then get attached to the Lord, and always remember him and not forget him. So that's why deity worship is there and is described the need for deity worship, because one may say holy name alone is sufficient, then why do we need deity worship? Prabhupada explains that there's a lot of material contamination and there's a lot of material consciousness, bodily consciousness. In such a consciousness, one has to come out of that. For that, deity worship is very helpful and it is very fast method of coming out of such bodily consciousness, taking your attachment away from matter and remembering, always remembering Krishna and not forgetting him. For that, deity worship helps a lot. And in that way, your body, mind and words are favorably engaged. So offenses are the unfavorable activities or unfavorable engagements, and they are to be avoided. So to help us understand what are those offenses, what needs to be done and what needs to be avoided, that's where Narada Pancharatrika is given to us, and that's why we have to take shelter of Narad Muni to protect us from committing offenses in the worship of the deity. And that's what Prabhupada explains. Everyone engaged in deity worship, whether at home or in temple, should always seek the mercy of Devarishi Narada in order to avoid the 32 offenses while worshipping the deity. So when describing the 5 potent forms, there is Archana, and then there is, when Rupa Goswami focuses on the 5 potent forms, he gives another term, Srimurter Angri Sevane Preeti, which is having faith and great affection for serving the deity. So Archana is deity worship. Then the 5 potent forms, when he describes, he adds more qualifiers. Srimurter Angri Sevane Preeti, having faith and great affection for serving the deity. So when looking at the different angas, so the mood of worship of deity also is not asking for anything back and considering oneself as the servant, where you offer your everything you have, your body, mind and words, you're offering to the Lord in as Atma Nivedanam, and as completely surrendering to the Lord in the form of deity through the Saranagati, where you think that the Lord is my protector and maintainer. So when the angas are described, there is a concept of Kaim Karyam, where you go to the deity and ask, what should I do? Kim Karoti. And then do what he says. So that's like the topmost. One may not be at that platform, but if we are aware of that, at some stage we can come to that. Karmarpanam is where you do activities and then you offer the results. Whereas Kainkaram is you go to the Lord and in the mood of a servant you ask. For us, we can go to the deity and ask, what should I do? How should I serve you? And then accordingly serve. So these are some points I thought of sharing related to addressing lust and worshipping the deities. I'll conclude here and see if there are any questions, comments, corrections on what we discussed. Yes. Yeah. So in the Hare Krishna mantra, what does Rama represent? So Prabhupada explains that it represents Lord Rama, the elder brother of Lakshmana, then Parashurama as well, and Lord Balaram as well. Which one do we mostly prefer? As per Prabhupada, they can represent all 3, but our preference is towards Lord Ram. But anyway, is that correct, Prabhu? Okay. Yeah, 2-handed form of the Lord. Yeah. Yes. I can't hear you. I'll probably give you the mic. Or maybe come closer. Or speak louder. Atonement in worshipping the deity as you committed a mistake, or atonement, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a good point which I forgot to mention, is that when describing the angas of bhakti, when Prahlad Maharaj says Smaranam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, 7th canto, in that purport, when Archanam is there, Prabhupada writes in the purport about how do you overcome offenses when worshipping the deity, in addition to praying to Narad Muni and all of them. He says, he gives few remedies. One of them is reciting a chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, you have tried your best, and despite the fact you committed some offenses. We were discussing you're trying to adjust some decorations and then your hand hits one part of the Lord's body and then the deity moves and kind of moves away from his position. So things happen, like you're trying your best to avoid. So then what happens is that one doesn't have to go into the panic saying that I can't worship the deity anymore, I'm offensive. So the remedies are given. One of them is to read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Second is to worship Mother Tulasi. And ask for her favor. Yeah. One must read at least, so this is in 7, 5, 23, 24 purport. Yeah. One read, or one can recite the 1,000 names of Vishnu. We already chant Hare Krishna, which is equivalent to that. In Skanda Purana, it is said that one who recites prayers to Tulasi or sows a Tulasi seed is also freed from all offenses. And anyway, the below given solutions, I wasn't very sure. If one worships a Shaligram Shila, one can be relieved of offenses. If one worships Lord Vishnu with 4 hands, bearing conch shell, lotus and a club, one can be relieved of the above offenses. So by the above, Prabhupada listed all the offenses to the deities, then he gives solutions. But I was very curious. In worshipping Shaligram, we may commit offenses. So I don't know. Maybe next class, Gopamjish Prabhu can explain. So other atonement is stay in a holy place known as Shaukarava and then bathe in the Ganges. I don't know where that place is, but so Prabhupada gives references. So offenses to the deity, yes, you pray to do these kind of atonements. Offenses to the Vaishnavas, you ask forgiveness from the Vaishnava who you offended. Then offenses to the holy dham, you have to be careful, be repentful of that. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah, okay. Granth Raj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.